This video tutorial shows you how to create your own custom event summary variables using the MEPS Variable Builder tool from IPUMS MEPS. To start, go to meps.ipums.org and click on Get Data or Select Data. Next, click the turquoise button that says Create Event Summary Variable. To create an event summary variable, you will need to be logged into your IPUMS MEPS account. If you start creating a custom event summary variable without logging in, your work will not be saved. Once you've logged in, click Create Variable from Scratch. The MEPS Variable Builder allows you to create two main types of variables: variables that sum up expenditures or variables that count up medical encounters or events. In both cases, you can specify criteria or characteristics to filter the types of expenditures or medical events you want to sum or count. For example, you can use this tool to make a variable that adds up expenditures for emergency room visits in a specific month from a specific payment source. Or you could create a variable that counts how many medical events a person had associated with diseases of the digestive system. These summary variables are then created and appended to each individual's person record. More information, including very important details to be aware of when using the variable builder, can be found in the MEPS Variable Builder User Guide, which is available at z.umn.edu/ipums_mvb_help. I highly recommend reading through this user guide because there are some things users definitely need to know. For example, not all filter options are compatible with other filter options, and some variables used to create these filter options are unavailable in some samples. Now, how to use the variable builder. In this first example, I'm making a variable that adds up expenditures. Specifically, it will add up expenditures paid for by Medicare for emergency room visits. First, name and label your variable. Optionally, you can add a description of the variable. This may be helpful for future reference. Under the Events menu, you can make selections about which types of medical events you want to include in the expenditure total. I'm going to select just emergency room visits. Under Time Period, you can specify if you only want to add up expenditures from select calendar months or interview rounds. Under Payment Source, you can specify payment source types. I'm going to select just Medicare, so this variable will only add up expenditures paid for by Medicare. When you make selections in multiple filters, for example, if you filter based on payment type and filter based on event type, only events that meet both criteria will be included in the sum of expenditures or events. So my variable will sum expenditures that meet both the Medicare payment type requirement and the emergency room event type requirement. Under Conditions, you can specify conditions that the medical events are associated with. You can choose ICD-10 codes, which are available for 2016 and later years, or ICD-9 codes, which are available for 1996 through 2015. You can also filter expenditures by whether the event was associated with a medical condition that was caused by an accident or injury. When you are done customizing your expenditure sum variable, click Save. Now you'll see a summary of your variable. You will see the variable name, label, and description, the variable's availability in different samples, whether the variable adds up expenditures or counts events, and the filters you use to create the variable. If you need to make any changes, click Edit. If everything looks good, click Save. The variable you created has automatically been added to your cart. You can see that there is now one event summary variable in the data cart. You can now keep creating variables or go to the main data extract system where you can select other variables. Let's make another variable. We will go through how to use the variable builder to create a variable that reports a count of medical events meeting your specified criteria. I'm going to create a variable that counts the number of office-based and outpatient visits associated with diseases of the respiratory system. Again, I am going to add a name, label, and description for my variable. And again, you can filter on the event type. In this case, I am choosing office-based visits and outpatient visits. When you select more than one option within the same filter, for example, if you filter based on both office-based visit and outpatient visit, as we are doing in this example, events that meet either criterion will be included in the sum of expenditures or events. So my variable will count office-based visits or outpatient visits. Both types of medical events, however, must be associated with diseases of the respiratory system, satisfying the event type and the medical condition type requirements. You can filter on time period, payment source, and conditions. I'm going to use the ICD-10 codes to filter these events to only those associated with diseases of the respiratory system. And then when you are done making your selections and filtering events, you click Save. Here, you can see that my variable is only available for samples from 2016 onward. This is because the ICD-10 codes are only used in samples from 2016 onward. Now I'm done making this variable. The two variables I just created were automatically added to my current extract, but I may want to add them to future extracts too. To add variables you have already created to your IPUMS MEPS data extract, you would just go to the Event Summary drop-down menu in the extract system and click on My Event Summary Variables. From this page, you can then add variables to your cart by clicking the plus signs next to the variables. From this page, you can also load your existing variables and use them as a template to create a new variable. For example, I could create a new version of my variable measuring Medicare expenditures on emergency room visits that includes some additional filters. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy using IPUMS MEPS data. Email ipums@umn.edu with any questions.